I'm out at the Patriot Training Center right now, been teaching a pistol course, and this is Caleb, he's the owner. This is the target we've been using. And in this video, we're gonna talk about timers and switches. But before I tell you that, Caleb, tell us about the target and why it's designed this way.
Yeah, so we use a couple different targets that we designed ourselves here at Patriot Training Center. This is our anatomy target. And basically, first of all, we have a humanoid shape, right? So it's fun to go to the range and we shoot different targets, bullseyes, whatever that is. But if we're training for defensive purposes, we got to get kind of used to shooting at a humanoid shape. And then this one also has a gun pointed up at our face because if we're defending our lives against somebody with a gun, it's going to be pointed at us, right? So kind of just getting used to that is the start of it. And then the way that we design the target, again, we have a couple different targets, but these have very important scoring size zones that we use, which are these shaded boxes. And they're not bold black lines because, again, in real life, people wear t-shirts, they're not walking around with targets on their chest. So if we're shooting for things, we got to look at places on the body and anatomically know what we're aiming at. And this is our anatomical target, which has some of the outline of the vital organs and the spinal column here. But basically, we have an A-zone size target here in the center of the chest that goes vertical, and that's about 5.5 by 11 inches. And then we have an 8-inch circle, which encompasses pretty much everything in the thoracic cavity that's a vital organ. So we have the heart, we got many of the major arteries and the valves. And then, of course, the spinal column runs up the center here. So we have what we call our spine box, which is this basically 5.5 by 5.5 square that's in the middle of the 8-inch circle at the top of the A zone. And then going up into the head, we don't just shoot for the entire head. Again, anatomy is important. So the entire head is encompassed by basically a natural skull like helmet. Okay, so your skull provides some shielding to the brain. So, but we're actually looking for around the eye sockets to the nose and this triangle here. Are the soft parts of the human skull. So that's where we're trying to put bullets if we're getting headshots, especially with pistol rounds because pistol rounds are not very good at stopping people. And then going all the way down to the bottom, if we follow the spinal column all the way down, we have a couple of these shaded areas here in basically the pelvic girdle area around where the front pockets are on an individual. And that kind of lines up with the pelvic girdle there, which is not a primary target, but it's there if we, for certain drills and for certain scenarios, that could be a target that we switch to if we're not getting the work done we need with these other targets here. And then how much the anatomy and how important that is, I think Jason can explain here with timers and switches.
Yeah, so timers and switches. What is a timer? Well, that's what the thoracic cavity shot is. If somebody gets shot in here, that means they can keep going. So, of course, there are many, many stories where police officers shoot a guy or homeowners shoot a home invader, and that person keeps coming at them. So eventually they may drop, they may die, but that's not going to turn it off immediately, which is why you also want to have a switch. So a switch means boom, if you hit that shot, if you go between the eyes here in the shaded area, the soft part of the brain and the face and the skull and all that, you have a much better chance of turning out the lights immediately. So a very well-known drill in the firearms industry is the failure to stop drill, which is 2 to the chest and 1 to the head. Of course, we know that criminals can buy body armor these days. They're wearing body armor. So if you have a home invasion and you're sitting there and you go pop, pop to the chest and that guy is still running at you trying to kill you, well, then you want to transition very quickly and go to that headshot between the eyes to hopefully turn off that switch very quickly before that person harms you and your family. So it's an important thing to know that you don't only practice shooting in the thoracic cavity area, but you also practice headshots. And if you have young children like I do, because young kids can run around in front of you, and because you get tunnel vision in a life and death situation, I've had it myself, and until you've been there, you don't realize how really narrow that tunnel vision is I practice headshots all the time because I might not see my 2-year-old running below me, and of course, you don't want to hit an innocent bystander, as I'm practicing that headshots because I know that nobody's going to be up that high. So something to always practice, even dry fire practice, which I do for 10 minutes every morning, is again, body shots transition to the headshots, which you should be dry firing every morning if you want to become a better shot. So yeah, definitely come to the Patriot Training Center, take some classes with me, take some classes with Caleb, and we hope to see you there.